Hello, hello. Today is my next MOOC interview, and first of all, I will do a quick introduction. I'm Oliver, and my Chinese name is Zhang Xinwang, and I have been working as a front-end engineer for about 9 years, and from the start of my career, I have been focused on React ecosystems, and my tech stacks includes React, TypeScript, styled component, and on design, MUI, and React router, and so on. And I'm very excited to have this opportunity to have this interview. Thank you. First question is call stack. When we define a function, then the function will push into the call stack, and the rule is based on first in, last out. Last in, first out, last in, first out. Last in, first out, last in, first out, last in, first out. Last in, first out. Yeah, first in, last out, which means if you first in, last out. Yeah. Even the loop. You know, even the loop. Next question is, what's even the loop? Even the loop is a mechanism which based on JavaScript single thread. You know, in JavaScript, it runs on the browser using single thread. So JavaScript engine followed a message queue to handle the event. Firstly, it will run the sync jobs. After sync jobs finished, it will find all the macro jobs like promise, and after all the macro jobs finished, it will look for a new macro jobs, and after the one macro job finish, it will go back and find whether there is a new macro jobs happened. in the queue. Yeah. After look for the queue. She will it will execute the jobs, follow the event loop by the message queue. Next question is scope. There are three scope definitions: global scope, block scope, and lexical scope. Before EX6, we actually don't have global scope. We need to mock the block scopes. We don't have block. We need to mark block scope by IIFE. And after ER6, we have block scope. We could use bracket to define block scope. And lexical scope is normally used when we use arrow functions. Closures. What is closure? Closure means, next question is, what is closure? Closure means an inner function is using a variable that defined by an outer function, and this function is a closure. We could use closure to define private variables. Next question is hosting. Variables and functions could move to the top of the scope when the compilation happens. This is hosting. And actually, if you use light const, the keyword of light const to define a variable, actually is hosting to the top of the scope, but it will still show some error if you define the variable but use it before. If you use it before it defined, it will show an error because even the light const variables could be hosting, but it's still in temporal dead zone, so it will show some error if you use the variable before it defined. Font design. Next question is primitive types. How many primitive types? There are 7 primitive types: array, number, string, boolean, null, big int, symbol. We could use big int and symbol is introduced in ER6. Symbol could identify a variable, and you can define a identify variable by using symbol, and you could also use big int to create a large safe number, even it bigger than mask safe integer. And next question is value versus ref. Value primitive values is copied by value, but reference object is copied by reference, which means if you define a equals a string and you define b equals a, actually is just copied by value. You change the value of b, it will not affect to the a. Next question is double equals versus triple doubles. Double equals the double equals will do type conversion, and triple equals will not do it. Double equals will have some unaccepted behavior, so actually we need to avoid to use double equals. Next question is promise. What is promise? Promise is introduced in X6 and it can avoid callback hill, and it has three states: pending, fulfilling, and reject. It's async. It's async. It's an object. That question is, what is async await? Async await is introduced after X6, and it also can avoid callback hill, and the code is more readable if you write async await. Because it's the code writing using async await is more like sync code. We write like sync code. Next question is event flow. Event flow, there are three event phases. Capturing is from top to bottom, and target and bubbling is from bottom to top. We usually handle the event at the bubbling phase. We could stop propagation at the bubbling state phrase. Next question is this. This is actually a complex concept. We use it. This is a concept describe the exciting context. There are 4 rows to follow according to the priority. The first row is this is the global context by default, and if you define this by object dot something and call object dot something, and this is actually the object, and the third row is you could bound this with some function by bound call apply methods, methods. And finally, you could also new uh, new use new function and to bound this with an instance and anything and else and also you could we should mention that in arrow method in arrow function is it not follow the for rows the in arrow function this keyword is only related to the lexical scope. Carrying mean carrying means what is carrying? Carrying means we need it could convert a function with many arguments to a sequence function to a sequence of function with only one argument. And carrying could make the code more readable, more reusable. Next question is per function. Order is per function. Per function means if the input argument is constant, then the output is constant as well. Another question is whether the React function is per function. Actually, it's yes. Its merchant needs this make the React function component should and must be per function. If you want do some effects, you need put the effects into the use effect hooks. HOC. What is HOC? HOC is high order component in the class in the arrow or class React class component arrow we define so many HOC. Actually, even in this for example, we could define a with auth HOC. Every is a wrapper component, and we could call this HOC to make our component have some authentication behavior. The definition is the component will return another component. Next question is prototype. Prototype means if you define an object, the object will have a prototype chain. You could follow the row to find its prototype functions. New. What do you mean new? New is a function. New is a function. New is a keyword to create a new instance. Yeah. Next question is ES6 models. We could use import, export, import, export to import and export models, and the benefit is when you use web, it could do static tree shaking, and decrease the bundle. Next question is map vs object. Map and set is what are introduced in ES6. We could write map dot set map dot get to do map operation, but there is also an arrow method named map. We could map an array using map function, and the return will not change the original array object. Next question is array methods. Array methods. Map, filter, reduce, slice, splice, and so on. There are some array methods that could change original array, like push, pop, shift, unshift, splice. They all will change the original array. Next question is React performance. There are some way to improve React performance. Before React 19, we could use use memo, use callback to catch some value of functions, and also we could use React.lazy to do the root lazy load. Yeah, we could also use tree shaking at the packaging period. We could also use tree shaking to make the bundle package more smaller. And we could also use bondage, React performance, and performance. Actually, after React 19, React compiler will do a lot for the React performance. For example, we could not write use memo, use callback. It's unnecessary in React 19. The compiler will do it for ourselves. And the next question is React 18 versus React 19. React 19 do a lot. For example, as I said before, React 19 write some use the React compiler to automate memorization, so we don't need to write use memo, use callback explicited anymore. And also React 19 removed forward ref, which means ref can be a purpose and it could not we could it's very friendly to developers. Next question is what is React 18? React 18 improved concurrent mode. It could execute code concurrently, so it will improve the React application performance. Next question is what is React application security? React have a inbuilt mechanism to handle the access. It will escape unhealthy string to healthy string by escaping the message. And also React have a mechanism to have an API set dangerous set HTML, like the name said, it's very dangerous. So we could make it cautious and don't use it. We should be careful to use that API. And also application security. And also in the other hand, we also use we could also use CLS. We should define some CLS to avoid CLS problems. Next question is per function. As I said before, React component function is per function. We could put some effects into use effect hooks. Next question is Webpack. Webpack is a build tool for us. We could use it at local environment and we could use it to do build job. There is we could define it as a configuration field like webpack.config.js, and there is an entry, some plugin, and output, and we could do something use the webpack. For example, we could transform the source field to CSS and by import source loader, and we could also make every output field create a hash field name into the output field name. Webpack use the EX6 models to do the build job. How many EX6 features do you know? There are many EX6 features like let const keyword promise, map set, and destruction, and rest, a spread object, and arrow functions. Next question is use memo and use callback difference. Use memo will return a variable, and use callback will return a function. Next question is WebDriver L and do you know E2E? Yeah, I did a lot for it. I did a lot for E2E. Every we should do after we should do E2E after we finish the page development. Development is not it will ensure the code quality, but we use WebDriver L and Playwright. WebDriver L is the most frequently used E2E tool, and recent 1 year we also write E2E by Playwright. Playwright seems more popular recent years, and we are trying it. Yeah. Next question is do you know the React popular paradigm in recent 9-10 years? Yeah, this is a good question. There are 3 phases in React development. The first phase is using that we could use React class component. In the beginning of my career, we write class component. We write class component. We write many class component, and we should bound the inner function with the component. We should, and next phrase is function component. In about 2018 to 23, the function component is more popular. We could write some hooks, and we could reuse the hooks functions. Unlike the class component, at class component period, if you want to reuse some logic, you need to write some HOC, and but sometimes and to wrapper the component, but maybe sometimes the wrapper will not only be only one wrapper. Sometimes there will be a wrapper hell. Yeah. So function component and hooks try to fix that problem. And next phrase is React compiler give the React application a big improvement. React in compiler did a good job. We don't need to care the the cache. We don't need like before. We don't need to write use cache. We use callback, use memo. It will decrease the mental overhead. I think it's a good direction for React development. Okay, that is my mock interview. And the next question is my challenge. Oh, okay. I think I have a new question. Is Redux with us React contest? I think React contest is not really is not a really state management tool. It is designed for a situation we could pass some purpose from the grandparent to the grandson component. With grandson component need the purpose, but the parent component do not need this. And if you use the context, actually the context state could be changed, but we don't expect the context state changed frequently. However, if you want Redux or some other state management library, we expect that is a complex behavior, which means the state could be changed frequently, and there are so many free states to handle. That's my understanding for context with us Redux or some other state management library. And next question is my challenge. We have as I said before, there is a really complex business requirement. We need to handle the message for user A. If user A send a message and user B should receive the message, but there is a message corporation system, and we have a message queue to handle the message, and we also have use the Redux to do the state management, and we have a wrapper component to wrapper the business component. For example, there is a dashboard component, and at the dashboard component there are also many small widgets component in the dashboard. So we need wrapper every widget components and the dashboard. So we write a wrapper component to do it. Anyway, it's a little complex, and I finished it. I think it's a challenge for me. Okay, this is my mock interview, and I hope I can improve my English and improve my knowledge. Thank you.